today's show, we took a trip to downtown Frisco to highlight one business that is selling more than just dog food. And we look into the new football coaching staff and what it means for the future of the team. These stories and more on this edition of Hilltop News. What's rockin' Rock Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Hilltop News. Live from Studio 1060, I'm Kyla Lewis.
And I'm Veronika Volcjak.
We have a great show in store for y'all today, but first, Veronika's going to catch you up on everything going on around the Hill. Veronika?
Thanks, Kyla. Attention all freshmen and sophomores. The English STAR EOC exams are this week, with the English 1 test being tomorrow and the English 2 test being on Thursday. All testing students will need to update their browser before testing day and will need to bring their Chromebook and their charger to school on the day of their test. Instructions on how to update your Chromebook's browser were sent out in the Rock Hill newsletter as well as in an email. All testing students should be on the lookout for an email coming soon telling them their testing room locations. Seniors, this Wednesday, April 6th, the Student Council is holding their annual mortarboard decorating party in the cafeteria during 4th period and after school. All you need to do is bring your graduation cap to school on Wednesday, and the people at this event will help you design and decorate your cap for whatever your next after high school is. If you have any questions, you can contact Ms. Slade for more details. This past weekend was the end of the Winter Guard competition season. Yesterday, they competed in the NTCA State Championships. After 31 groups competed, the Guard took first place and the highest score in the class. The top 10 groups were invited back for Grand Championships later that evening, where they came back even stronger than taking first place. As there are only less than 2 months until school is out, many events, activities, and testing are taking place. So here's what's happening on the Hill this week.
A year after Esports has been introduced, they have played in both online and in-person tournaments. With the success they have gained in the first year of competing, they are ready to take on the next step for their program.
From the cheering and clapping at in-person competitions
to
the minor communication by their setups at home, these esports athletes have been working on building the foundation of esports by taking advantage of synergy while they can, and building a program that has a long road ahead.
So this program is basically like a stress reliever outside of school. A lot of students are stressed out over the amount of work that they're given, and this program basically just unites a lot of people with their interest in gaming. Not only is it just a big stress reliever, but we actually get a reward for that, not just money, but we, make friends, we talk a lot, we have similar interests, and I just feel like it's a really great thing.
Esports head coach in the state of Texas recognized these opportunities. UIL has adopted esports as a sanctioned activity, and the Texas Education Agency is making esports a class for the 2024-2025 school year.
I am so excited for what is going to potentially happen from this point forward. I can't stand myself. So what a great motivator as well for kids that might be struggling in class to now have to pass their classes in order to be able to play competitively, right?
I'm behind you. I'm waiting.
The program itself has gained success, but it's also given students competing opportunities to be a part of a competitive team aspect and share their competitiveness all along with their team skills while gaming. One senior who has become part of the foundation of the program since day one is coming to his end with competing, but is more grateful for the opportunity just to be part of building the program.
I would say there's a lot of stuff that we've done. We've made it to a LAN setting where we've all played in together at the same place in a tournament, and so that was a big achievement. So I definitely recommend it because throughout high school I've kind of not hidden, but just kind of separated my social life and my gaming life just because it's kind of, sometimes it can be considered a little nerdy and weird, but with this, it kind of gives me a better ability to combine those two with being able to, meet the team, hang out with them, and just have fun.
Esports has given Prosper ISD students new opportunities in just a year. Prosper ISD is noticing how their support is helping and is taking on the role to continue to support these athletes to give them better opportunities and progress their success. For Hilltop News, I'm Braden Bedford.
While the Valorant team season is coming to an end, the Rocket League team still has a few tournaments left and will be continuing their next set of games tomorrow.
Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee will vote on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court nomination, bringing President Biden's nominee a step closer to a confirmation vote before the full Senate. Although the committee is made up of 11 Democrats and 11 Republicans, Jackson's confirmation would advance to the full House even with an 11-11 deadlock. Jackson served 8 years as a federal trial court judge and last June was confirmed for a seat on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. And if Jackson becomes a justice, she will be the first Black woman to serve on the Supreme Court. Discussions continue about the future of US 380 and the creation of a 12-lane bypass that was proposed in Segment B. The Prosper ISD Board of Trustees unanimously voted against Segment B with fear of student driver safety, bus drivers having to navigate across a 12-lane freeway, and the loss of property value, which would lower the tax base for Prosper ISD. Jim Bridges, the president of Prosper ISD Board of Trustees, stated, "We see reduced property values. We see reduced services to kids. Residents can submit their input about the US 380 bypass by April 6th.
As the district has seen an extensive growth over the last 20 years, so has its schools along with what's inside of them. One thing the ISD consistently is building up is their school libraries. Bronwyn Library is in studio to tell you a little bit more about what is placed on these shelves.
Thank you, Kyla. With over 300,000 library books across the district, there are members of our community who are challenging some of these books for whether or not they meet the ISD community guidelines and should remain on the shelves.
With the need for school shelves to be filled with a variety of books, some members of the community are finding some of these books disturbing and wanting them removed, along with some of these books already having been taken off the shelf.
The community standards issue is about whether or not it's pervasively vulgar, if that makes sense. And that's what we're looking at, is something pervasively vulgar, and one way to kind of determine that is looking at our community standards. Something in one community may not be pervasively vulgar, and that word pervasively is important, right? I mean, because there's a lot of books that may have one little vulgar piece, but it's not pervasive, so not as big a deal. And so that was kind of the decision that was made on these 22 books.
While what a book contains is a community standard issue, those who are really affected by it are the students.
I think like in high school, we don't need any like restrictions, but I'd say younger like people, I'd say elementary school, maybe even like middle school, certain things shouldn't be included that are like explicit because they just haven't gotten there yet.
I'm disappointed in the district's response to this. I think that they should communicate better because there's really not been much communication. It's been mostly speculation, and I think because it affects the student directly, they should communicate with us, and we should be the forefront advocating for what we believe in and not older people deciding for us.
The whole point of high school is to produce us into young adults and produce us to be able to go out in the real world. And I feel like by banning books and censoring them, it kind of limits that. So I don't think they should be banned and anything like that.
I honestly think it's kind of sad because it's kind of stripping away from what other people might find passionate. Like, you have no idea if someone like who doesn't like reading is going to find a book and be like, oh my gosh, I love this book. And then they start like their kind of like journey of like reading and growing, like their whole like learning process of like getting into things like that.
Students aren't the only ones voicing their opinions on this topic. Holly Draper, a mom of two within Prosper ISD, has taken it upon herself to read and post reviews of these books on social media.
The first book that I chose to read was called The Pants Project. And I chose it because it was a middle school book, and both my kids are currently in middle school. There's nothing remotely questionable in the book. It's a very sweet book. And I would love for my children to read it because it gives you a perspective on a different type of person than yourself, and hopefully would teach kindness to people that are different than you.
The Prosper Citizens Group, also known as the PAC, sent out this statement regarding the book review. The PAC is very grateful that PISD leaders have reviewed and removed a number of books due to their vulgar or explicit content. We look forward to continuing to work together with PISD on this issue. As residents of Prosper and PISD, we are committed to our school district, as all of us choose Prosper as our home in a large part due to PISD. Once a book has been challenged and reviewed, a committee is formed made up of certified librarians at that level, classroom teachers, campus and central office administrators, as well as parents from the community who have children at that age level. Since the process has gone underway, 22 books have been weeded off the shelves this school year alone, with many being bumped up a school level. The goal of all this is to make the final decision regarding a book's purpose and reading level, which is made up by the committee, all while keeping one particular goal in mind.
The goal is to get kids reading and to get kids enjoying reading and to get kids to become lifelong readers.
To find more information, you can visit the district's page at prosper-isd.net under the Curriculum and Instruction Unit, where it provides a reconsideration of materials flowchart, along with any outlets to any other questions you may have. Back to you, Kyla.
Pet owners treat their four-legged companions like family. I looked into a place in downtown Frisco where people can shop and even dine with their furry friends.
Spotted in downtown Frisco Square is a place for man's best friend to have a meal that is bon appetit.
I
had seen a lot of doggy gimmicks, doggy restaurants that had gimmicky foods, serving fast foods to the dog, and the dog sitting in the patio. We wanted to do something that was real. So I took formulas, I took foods that real organic foods for dogs, and we made a menu, and we plated that menu just like for humans.
The patio goes far beyond your typical dog food. With the health of dogs in mind, their goal is to provide dog food that not only tastes good, but is good.
You're gonna find a way healthier stuff here than you would find at pretty much even the more holistic locations. You're gonna find healthier stuff here.
While pets are a main part of their business, the patio also uses their restaurant to better the community. Owner Giulio Ferrari used the patio to create an outlet for artists all around the area.
I started meeting a lot of artists, and from painters to DJs, musicians, performers, every kind of artist. And I noticed that they weren't good at business, but they were extremely talented. So that's what I'm doing with these artists with Subsolo Art Collective, is teaching them how to transform their talents into a business.
With the mixture of food, art, music, and dogs, the patio continues to bring the community together, one treat at a time.
It's part of our society. It's part of our dynamic. We can't deny anymore that dogs aren't part of our society. They're part of our families. So why not have them for dinner?
The patio is open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. The restaurant portion of the patio is planned to open April 20th. Now March Madness is coming to an end tonight. Connor, can you give us an update on how the school-wide bracket is going?
Carolina is their champion. Someone new tonight will take over the lead and become the first ever Rock Hill March Madness champion. Personally, I would love to see UNC pull off the win. They've already taken down Baylor and then finished off Coach K's coaching career in the Final Four. No better storybook ending than to have the underdogs win it all. Now let's bring this back to a more local level and talk about some of our Rock Hill sports. Starting off with girls soccer continued their playoff action last Tuesday when they faced off against Dallas Wilson. The game got out to a slow start, entering the half tied 0-0. The second half got out to a slow pace as well until Jordan Hardman found the back of the net to put the Blue Hawks up 1-0. The girls continued to control the ball the rest of the game, holding on to that win 1-0, making them the area champs. Friday, the girls had to play their toughest matchup of the season, facing off against a top 5 team in 5A in Frisco High. Once again, the game entered the half tied 0-0, but unfortunately, the Raccoons took over in the second half, knocking in 2 unanswered goals to defeat our girls 2-0, putting an end to our Blue Hawks' historic season. The girls overall ended the year 21-2-1, were regular season district champions, and ended the year with a 102-14 goal differential. With most of the team returning next year, it's going to be great to see what our girls can do at the 6A level. Baseball was also in action this past week, starting off on Tuesday at home versus Denison. The game was tied 0-0 going into the bottom of the 5th until the Blue Hawks decided to turn it on, scoring 7 runs in 2 innings to take control and eventually win that game 7-1. Baseball looked to continue their momentum Friday when they traveled out to Princeton. Our Blue Hawks didn't get out to the greatest start, going down 6-3 in the second inning, but our boys never gave up, going on to score 7 unanswered runs, pulling off the win 10-6. Now softball also had a monster week, starting off with a big win Tuesday night at home against Lovejoy. Our girls took home a 14-3 win with 4 home runs from Jolie Mallon, Ella Burlage, Veronika Cooley, and Katarina Luna. Softball never took their foot off the pedal, moving on to Sherman on Friday. They dominated the entire 7 innings, winning that one 11-0. Now track and field traveled out to Lovejoy on Friday to compete at the Lovejoy Invitational Meet. Track saw some big performances from Jordan Edwards, who claimed gold in both the 100-meter and 300-meter hurdles, Nolan Macklin, who placed first in the 100-meter and second in the 200-meter, and Gavin Heckey, who took home gold in pole vaulting. Now tennis was also at Lovejoy this past weekend. They competed in their district championships. Cole Moody and Julia Bursky were named the mixed doubles champions, Blake Anderson was named the boys singles champion, and overall the boys team was named the district champions. Now, over the past couple of months, there's been a lot of changes in our football team coaching staff. On January 29th, head coach Mark Humble stepped down. Following that date, 4 more of our coaches have also resigned before the start of next season. With Rock Hill moving up to 6A next year, there will also be an additional 5 more coaching spots, leaving 10 positions for our football program to fill before next season. So far, football has appointed Coach Mark Wilkinson as the new head coach, as well as hired Derek Thompson as the new offensive coordinator, Noble Polk as our defensive coordinator, and then Alan Holder and Jason Dangerfield, both from Rogers, to be added to the coaching staff as well. Now, I looked into our new head coach, Mark Wilkinson's hiring, and how him and all of the other new coaches will be making an impact on this program in the immediate future.
6 weeks in, as the new athletic coordinator and coach, Mark Wilkinson faces his first of many challenges to come, starting with the hiring of staff as well as preparing for spring football.
I think it's obviously a big change. Obviously, it comes down to the biggest thing the new coaching staff has to come in and do is instantly build great relationships with our athletes. That's first and foremost. If we can't do that, then we won't be successful with our X's and O's. So there'll definitely be a change as far as that goes. But the guys we're bringing in to hire, that we've hired, they've already made an instant impact with our athletes, and the relationships are being built right now.
With Wilkinson being the assistant coach last season, administrators said it was an easy choice for the district to promote him. They knew he would carry on some of the old traditions while still creating a new legacy for the Blue Hawks.
An internal hire was important for us because we did not feel like it was broken, right? If you felt like the program was broken, that's when you go outside of it. Coach Humble and his staff laid a great foundation here, and we wanted someone who would continue a lot of those traditions.
Having relationships already built with the players has helped Wilkinson get the team to work quickly in preparation for their spring season.
It was important because, I mean, if we came into spring ball with a totally new head coach, it was going to be, we'd have to learn a whole new playbook in less than a month, and we would have to go through this whole thing that we're going through right now, but during spring football, so we wouldn't have time to do like character curriculum or getting to know the team better.
With the recent announcements of a new offensive and defensive coordinator, along with additional staff replacements, Wilkinson is depending on the character and connections of this team to take full advantage of the move up to 6A next year.
The jump to 6A, I have coached 6A football earlier in my career. Let me just put it this way. We're fixing to surprise a lot of people. These kids, these athletes, they're motivated, and we're fixing to surprise a lot of people.
Coach Wilkinson and the players know next season will come with many challenges, but they are motivated and ready to go out there and make some noise.
Now, spring football will be the first time we get to see Coach Wilkinson lead this team, as well as see the new abundance of coaches on the sidelines. Spring football will be starting up practice at the end of this month, and their first game will be May 19th. Now, while spring football is still a little whiles away, there are still plenty of our sports teams in action currently. So let's take a quick look at all those games coming up this week for our Blue Hawks. Well, that's all we have for today's show. For Hilltop News, I'm Connor Fuxa.
I'm Kyla Lewis.
And I'm Veronika Volcjak. Keep rocking, Blue Hawks.